actually been more purposeful.
But that's what Jesus talked about, right? You're going to do greater than I did.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So it was just amazing to see that. And that's what let me know I was still living out, even though, a lot of times we always feel like, man, because we're not perfect, we can't speak on it. But, I was doing enough of the vision where he was able to catch on and do it. And that's what you're doing with your daughter. And that's what we're inspiring people out there. That's why we're doing this podcast, so that people can make those decisions. And just one decision at a time, right? Look at the labels on the
labels is big.
Look at the labels, right?
Labels is big, bro.
Decrease the high fat foods, decrease the fried foods and all of that stuff. And there's plenty of options out there. So I want to go from generational health. So in the communities that you serve, particularly through like even Herbalife and as a fitness coach and all of that, what trends or what are the common misconceptions that you see that, that you see about either health that you wish people, understood more of? Like, what are the misconceptions?
I mean, like you said, the quick. Everybody wants it quick. And now with social media, with the internet, with AI, I mean, things are just going to get faster, robots, right?
Yeah.
So people just want results fast. And like, just yesterday, they saw my before after. They're like, well, how long did it take you? And I'm like, well, the wait, it took me maybe 3-5 months to lose.
Yeah.
But I always say to make the transformation, it took me a year because I needed to realize what habits I needed to change.
Wow.
What do I need to have in the house? What do I not need to have in the house?
Yeah.
At what times will I work out? What days? So I can be consistent with it where it's on autopilot.
Yeah.
What foods are going to be like permanently on my menu? Like, you know what I mean?
You had to build a foundation.
I had to design,
you had to build the blueprint,
the whole
structure.
environment.
Exactly, yeah.
The whole environment.
Yeah.
It took me like a year. And like what story mentally, what things that I say mentally and out loud am I gonna say and not say? Because you hear a lot of people that say they want to lose weight, but they call themselves, I'm so fat. Talk like that and expect to be healthy, right?
Wow.
Like we hear in the Bible.
Because
life
the power of life and death is in the tongue.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I had to...
So you're killing it before it even starts.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You on it, bro.
Yeah.
So it took me a year to really take inventory of what I needed to design so I could be intentional with it.
That's it, man. And I mean, and don't be afraid of and this is what I said, like, I thought I did the same thing. Like when I made the decision to be, like when I was going for my, you saw me at WVU, I was going for the bachelor's and I was going for the master's.
Yeah, you was getting after it, bro.
One of the biggest decisions, and this was a scary time in my life because I didn't know what to do next. I was looking at chiropractic. I was looking at, maybe should I be a doctor? Should I just, go to DC? Like I remember you had a job in DC. I was like, okay, well, I can go work for the CDC right now and this and that. Just we're doing public health initiatives and all of that. And I don't knock anybody that does that, but I knew that there was something more in me. Yeah, but one of the biggest obstacles that I had to overcome was, but that's so much time. But then what I did was, I was like, wait a minute. I think I was maybe 24 at the time.
You got number time. You
exactly. So you see how the devil works, right? Like facts. I'm at 24 saying I don't have time. Yeah. So, but I'm just like, wait a minute. Time. By the time I'll get out, I might be maybe 28, 29. And then I started looking at like family members that were like 28, 29, and they were still living. They were just working, whatever. But I'm just like, wait a minute. I'll just be their age. That's not a long time. Yeah. And then I get into school, come to find out that all the people in my class, that I'm one of the youngest. There's people in their 50s. There's people that had careers. Yes. Hey. There were people that, they worked as, bankers. They worked as real estate brokers. They worked as, either worked at other offices.
We be overthinking it, bro.
We overthink. We just limit ourselves in here, in between our ears, and that's what it's all about. Like, and that's why I put that dare in there, because there has to be a mindset change. A lot of the stuff that you're talking about is mindset, and even like the Jim Rohn and the speaking that you're listening to and the books that you've been reading, it really has to start in the mind, and that's like the devil's playground. Yeah. If he can hide the fact that you're powerful and just let you, live a weak life and a life that's not on purpose, and a life that is just following a crowd when you are called to be a leader, that's the devil's playground, where he just tries to confide and try to switch you and try to push you in different directions, or try to stop you with the fear of what it could be. So that's amazing that you said that, man.
I'll say this to piggyback on that.
It did take a long time for you to change, right? It wasn't overnight. It's not an overnight success.
It definitely wasn't overnight, bro.
Yeah.
But to piggyback on what you're talking about with taking action too and not overthinking, one of my mentors, Garen Jones, he always is big on whenever he gets an idea, he executes immediately. So I've literally seen him where I'm in the car with him and he'll jump out, you know what I'm saying? Like we're driving, he's driving, he'll pull over and he'll literally do content right on the sidewalk. And I'm like, bro, like, why do you? He's like, nah, when I get an idea, I have to execute immediately because if not, it could fade. It could, you know what I'm saying? So I have to do it in the moment. So he's big on not overthinking, you know what I mean? So that's real.
Wow, man. So who's the team? Well, so let me ask you this. So one of the things I talk about in the book is really just building like a healthcare team. And in that healthcare team, whether it's a primary care physician, whether it's a, chiropractor or a holistic doctor, whether it's a personal trainer, a fitness coach, some people need a life coach, some people need a mental health therapist, right? Some people, and it's whatever in the book, in the back, there's like an assessment where do you struggle with, this, that, or whatever. And then I make recommendations, but it starts with an assessment of just where you are, right? And anybody can do it at any time. But who are the or what are the roles or who are the people or the disciplines that you currently have right now on like your healthcare team that's just making sure that you're taking care of your temple?
I'll say first and foremost my wife.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's good. Accountability partner, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's good.
She's also a doctor.
Awesome.
So I have a doctor in the house.
I know that's right.
If I got any questions, I'm like, babe, what's this mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, should I be worried?
Hey, I got this blood work. What's all this,
Yeah, but she breaks it down and she's patient with me.
That's
and you know what I'm saying? She breaks it down for me. So I would say her first and foremost.
Okay.
My mother-in-law, who lives with us as well, was a nurse. So
awesome. There you go.
She has that, so I have a lot of knowledge around me. I'm good with going to the doctor, you know what I'm saying? I know people have a fear, but it's like, I have to know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So I make sure that I go to my doctor visits. And then I like that you mentioned therapy. I have my therapist. His name is Reggie too.
Oh, get out of here.
And I've used them throughout the years. And I've used, different therapists throughout the years. But shout out to my guy, Billy Grubbs.
Okay.
My best man at our wedding.
Okay.
But he exposed me to the power of therapy years ago.
I was just about to say, like, what made you make that leap?
Yeah, no, he taught
especially in our community, man, it's almost like, oh, well, you don't need to do that. Oh, man, if you do that, that's because you're crazy or whatever. But there's so much stuff in that devil's playground, in that mind, that goes from being, whether it's a business owner, a father, so it's like there's so much stuff going on. So shout out to Billy. I met Billy a couple of times.
That's
so,
my guy, man.
That's awesome.
He's changed my life in so many ways, man.
Yeah.
So he talked to me about it. I think just coming from one of the homies.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of times we hear women talk about therapy, but we don't hear guys talk about it. So to hear a guy talk about it, but a guy in my circle talk about it.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is the impact that it made for me. So for me, I'm like, if anything's gonna help me out some type of way for where I'm trying to go, I'm down to check it out.
That's it.
You feel me? So I did it. Literally, I went to one session and I had a breakthrough. She literally connected the dots for me. And it was a breakthrough.
It was right in your blind side. It's something you would have never seen on your own.
She tied it together for me, something I couldn't do on my own.
That's it.
And I literally went back to her maybe a couple years ago to tell her the results of that one session, bro. And then, I've had, different therapists throughout the years to help me, during tough times. I had one of my good friends that passed away a couple years ago, so I needed some therapy during that time.
While we're on the topic of men's health, Reggie said something that was so profound. I don't even think he caught it, but he was like, a lot of times people don't want to know what's going on. You don't know that in my, 18 years of being a doctor, that is probably the most consistent thing I've seen and heard out of men. And that's why the women are living longer. Because a lot of men feel like, well, if I don't know, then I don't have to do anything about it. And it really goes back. Like that, it really goes back to a lack of accountability.
Yeah,
it really goes back to a lack of accountability and a lack of just stepping up, knowing because I know all the pathologies and all the things that goes wrong with the body. I want to know as soon as possible what's wrong with me. If something's going on with my bladder, if something's going on with my lungs, I'm not breathing right. I want to know as soon as possible because most of the things that happen in the body, Reggie, are progressive or they're degenerative. Yeah. So that means that many times when people are like, oh man, grandma's got, I don't know, let's say hypertension or atherosclerosis or whatever it is, that plaque has been building up in the arteries for years. Yeah. For somebody to actually have a heart attack, Reggie, that plaque had to have been building and building and building and building for years, right up until that first sign, which sometimes can be the heart attack. Even if you look at cancer, sometimes it's good just early detection and early, like especially with prostate exams and all of that. Early detection is the key, and prevention. There's almost a whole chapter on having a preventative-based mindset, a preventative mindset.
So would you say if somebody, like let's say for example, had a heart attack, they might have been skipping doctor visits for some years?
Yes, because it's gonna show up in the EKG, it's gonna show up in an arteriogram, it's gonna show up in an echocardiogram. There was something that they were ignoring, and even if it's just getting regularly checked, it's gonna show up in their blood work, right? So there's so many things that you can do, and that's why I'm glad that you have, the missus and even mother-in-law that's a nurse, because so many times people are missing the fact that, hey, listen, if I can just either just get blood work or somebody to just kind of check just to make sure I'm staying within the norm, no matter what it is, and I can address it early. But the fact that men try to push off what can be done now for later when the pain starts, a lot of times it's crazy. Too late. It's too late, and it's harder to fix. It's much harder to fix. It's much more expensive to everybody that's frugal and like, oh, well, the doctor costs too much money. It costs more money to wait. It costs more money to wait than to do something now. So I'm very glad that you touched on that, because I see that over and over and over, especially with men.
That makes me think about Jim Rohn. He said once, people take care of their dogs better than they take care of themselves.
Wow.
People take their dogs to the vet all the time. They make sure they get the highest quality dog food. But you're not going to the doctor. You're not getting yourself the best quality food. You know what I mean?
Sir. Yeah. You just hit something right there, because I mean, I could always, in the same sentence where somebody said, man, Fluffy needed this procedure and it was $2,400. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, well, your disc is in stage 4 of a degeneration.
What we gonna do?
And decompression. I don't know. The going rate, I don't know, $75, $100 or whatever. You might need 4 or 5. They're like, do I have to? And it's it's an easy decision for Fluffy, right? But for you, because, and I don't know if it's Reggie, I don't know if it's just people just don't. They just I don't know if it's just
themselves. People don't love themselves, because when we talk about weight loss, right? God, the biggest thing that I hear from people
I didn't want to say it.
Look, people will say, well, I love food too much. Hey, I like food too, bro. But I don't love food more than I love myself.
Jesus.
So now we're talking about Fluffy. Do you love Fluffy more than you love yourself? Where you're willing to do everything for Fluffy, but you're not willing to do everything for yourself?
Because if you die, who's taking care of Fluffy?
He out in the streets now, bro.
Mic drop.
You gotta love yourself, man. You gotta love yourself. And loving yourself, you can check it for real. And this is one thing I heard too, is you can tell your priorities by looking at your calendar and your bank account.
That's it.
That reflects your priorities. Those two places.
Where a man's heart is, there also will his treasure be. Right? That's how the Bible kind of sums it up. But, and I used to think about it like, man, if I think about $1 million, then $1 million coming to me. But no, if you really break that down, what's in your heart, that's where you're gonna put all your treasure. That's where you're gonna put all your time is, we can't get this time back, right? This time and this is gonna be something that people can play it over and over. It's gonna be on YouTube and all of that. But what you do with the next hour, you're not gonna get back, right? So what are you doing with that time? What did you plan for? Because you love yourself and you wanna think that much further. So, Reggie, you dropping gems, sir.
Man, you dropping gems.
Let's
learn from each other, bro.
You know what? Before we leave, we did a lot on health. I want to get into like either either like the business side, sales side, because I could talk about that all day too.
Yeah, me too.
I do like, for one, let's start with this. I like that Build Your Temple. Is that something that's your brand?
Yeah, I got an LLC, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So is that like where you do like tell me more about when did you start that LLC?
So the LLC was recent. Once I had gotten a space recently where we were doing like some indoor fake camps and I needed to get business insurance.
Yeah.
So that's when I got the LLC.
Okay.
But the Build Your Temple, that name, I created that when I pretty much, so I had a different name for my Instagram back in the day. I ain't gonna say that name. Pre-marriage days. It was,
Freaky Reggie. Zeke the Freak. Okay, go ahead.
That's a podcast for another day.
That's part 2. You like this one? Listen to part 2. You gonna hear about that.
That one's gonna be on the chain.
Yeah. And listen, and don't sleep on Roch either, right? Reggie's not blowing my spot up. Yeah, go ahead.
But I switched. I pretty much rebranded myself.
That's it.
So I, changed the name for my Instagram, and that was the name that came to mind. And I was, searching, just make sure you don't got some that's already out there.
Yeah.
And
But that's good though. I'm glad you did the LLC. I like the name. I like it. I think it's catchy. I think it's on brand with who you are and all of that. So you started an LLC. So as a top, and I think what awards? I think haven't you like achieved like a certain level of success?
Yeah. So in Herbalife,
in the company.
Yeah. In Herbalife, I'm at the millionaire team level, which is the top 3% of the company.
Wow. Give me some, brother.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
That's it. Yeah. So okay, so you've reached that level. How do you help people shift from like short term to long term in terms of if they're trying to come into the business? Because some people are saying, "Hey, I want to be there," right? So how do you kind of get them
same thing? Like we've been talking about lifestyle, right? So a lot of times people want to go really hard for the short term. For a short amount of time, like let's say a month or a couple of weeks, people come in or, I'll give it a month. I'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I didn't come in with that mindset. Like I came in like, I'm gonna take this thing as far as
it can take.
It can go, but I wasn't caught up in it has to happen in a year. It has to happen in 5 years. I was just caught up in the goal.
Because there was failures along the way.
I was just about to say that, bro. I got my 4-year degree in 5 years.
Yeah.
But when you graduate, it don't say, it took Reggie 5 years. It just say you graduated. So I'm just caught up on the goal. I don't care how long it takes. When I wanted to lose the weight, I didn't say I gotta lose the weight in a month.
Wow.
I gotta lose the weight.
Period.
However long it takes, it's gonna take, but we're gonna get the weight off. So I don't care about the time.
One thing you and I have in common is that, and that's one thing when I was talking to the young men, and it's funny because I'm talking to these young men, it's all teenagers, and I'm talking about, and on the board it's like, MSI, MSI Integrative Healthcare CEO, Dr. Roch and Herold, and I'm talking about, I got my batches here, I got this, I got that. I'm talking about all these accolades, but I did tell them now, that 4th year, I lost focus. There was so much going on with my family, life, fraternity, like everything, right? And, just life just was crazy. And it took me that extra year. So I got mine in 5 as well. For those that don't know, I got it in 5.
That's
but you're right. You're right. But it's in
they gave us an extra year to network.
All the things that I said, my first question, young man was like, well, how'd you make it to that 5th, he didn't care about all the other stuff. He saw me as a successful, older African American man, and I was successful, but he heard that I failed. So something with my failure identified with him. So it amazed me because I was just like, my first thought was, I said all of that, and that's the first thing you asked. That's what I first said. Yeah. But I was just like, you know what? I was like, look, for one. When I even started school, because of all of the things going on with my family, the room that I came out of in the house, I grew up in Brooklyn, nice house and all of that, but because my parents went through a real bad divorce and all of that stuff, the room that me and my brother had that, was in high school, college and all of that, when all my friends were going home to go home, my father ended up chopping up the house and he had to, make an additional income. So my room became a kitchen. So I had nowhere to go. Yes. And that's why like, I want to say, I don't know,
You
maybe
turn your room into a kitchen?
my room was a kitchen. So if I went home, I would be sleeping, in a sink or on a stove top or whatever, but countertop, whatever it was. But I had no room to go back to. So in my mindset, even though I was messing up, I was like, Roch, you have to make it.
Yeah.
I was like, failure, failure is gonna come, but quitting is not an option.
Facts.
Right? Quitting was never one of the things that when
like
I was saying A, B, C, and D, I was like, look, I'm either gonna tough through it, I'm gonna do this, but quitting was never one of the things where I was like, man, well, I'm just gonna go back home and I just, because where I was working before I went to WVU, I was working at McDonald's. You remember the Calvin commercials? I'm older than you, but the older people gonna get it. Yeah, I remember Calvin, right? So. But I was the one like, oh yeah, he's working at McDonald's. He's working the minimum wage. And even there, I had to work hard. Yeah. I had to work so hard. I said, man, I don't want to come back here, right? So it was one of those.
But you had a vision in the back of your mind, though.
Exactly. So it's like, I was just like, man, you know what? I messed up, I failed. But I told that young man, I have to make it. Like, so take wherever quitting is in your mind, throw it as far away as you can and don't even think about it. And what can you do, whether it takes you 5, 6, 7 years, what can you do to get that degree? And then once you get that degree, what's my next step?
Facts.
Along with my purpose in my life. Right?
You going, bro. You going
That's
in, bro.
it, man.
Yeah.
Listen.
Fire me up, bro.
Reggie, man, listen, I could talk to this guy all day.
Facts.
What does it mean, if we were to wrap it up, what does it mean to dare to live well? And how would you challenge all of the listeners, because this is going to be on the Dare Champions podcast. I'll give you a copy of this too if you want to chop it up and put it in your audience as well, because you definitely dropped a lot. I think this was a great conversation. But, daring to live well, if that's the theme, what does that mean to you? And how would you challenge the listeners, whether it's people in your camp, our camp, or it's really the same people? Because we really are, at the end of the day, we're trying to empower people to live better lives, right? So what does it mean to dare to live well, and how would you challenge the listeners to take the first step, right? Not get to the end where, okay, the success is here, the business success, the health success, and all of that. Challenge them to do that.
Yeah, I think daring to live well, when I think about it, is just like looking at what area of your life you can do better in, right? Because a lot of times you see people that have great professions, they're killing it in their career, but their health is terrible.
That's it.
You got somebody that may be on the other side, they're ripped up, but their finances are terrible.
That's it.
So for me, I'm always looking at my life and, looking at my health, my relationships, my well-being, which is like my mental, my spiritual, right? Income. And it's like, all right, where am I doing well? And where can I improve? And then we attack that place where I can improve.
That's it.
Because if I could do well in this area, I just got to take the principles and what's making me successful over here and take that mindset to where I'm not doing so well and apply pressure there.
I like it.
You know what I mean? And with what's the first step? I think it's just getting around people that's already doing it.
That's it.
If you want to get in shape, get around people who are in shape.
Yeah.
If you want to make more money, get around people who are making more money.
Change your circle.
Change your circle.
Adding those people in your circle, right?
And if you don't have people around you, right, you have books that you could buy where you could be around that person, maybe not physically, but mentally. As you read, you're around that person.
That's it.
When you listen to an audiobook, you're in the presence of that person forever.
That's
right?
it.
YouTube, there's so much YouTube content out here, right, where you could be around that person's ideas, their energy, their enthusiasm, their passion, the topic that they're covering with all the lessons, and it's saving you time because they did all the mistakes. You know what I'm saying? So you're getting to learn and you're getting to be around that energy and that vibration. So I would say just get around the people that's already doing it.
That's it. Listen, without further ado, that was a mic drop of an answer.
That's good.
How can people, I'm just going to segue right into, how can people get around your orbit? Like, is there a way, because I'm going to post this, how can people follow you better? How can people, is there content that you're putting out as well?
Yes.
Or is it just like an IG or whatever? So how can they follow you?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Build Your Temple 24/7. My YouTube page is listed on there as well.
Okay.
And then on Facebook is just my name, Reggie Abreu, Abreu.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
Listen, you're watching this on the Dare Champions podcast on YouTube. By all means, follow me on Dr. Roch DC. That's the IG. And we're gonna have more of this in store. Listen, if I wish I had a applaud button, Kevin. Kevin, you need to get that applaud button, sir. You know, because that needs to be a standing ovation right now with all the gems that was dropped. Reggie, I thank you so much. Listen, he came all the way up from D.C. We're in Harford County right now, so that's north of Baltimore. Somebody's watching outside of the DMV, and I really appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the invite.
This content is gonna live forever, and it's gonna be changing people 20 years from now. We're motivating people to get up and live better.
That's
right?
powerful, bro.
That's powerful
to
isn't
think
it?
about, bro. Because I'm on YouTube all the time watching stuff from back in the day, so that feels
That's
good
amazing.
to
and when
make
you
an
think
impact.
about it, 20 years ago, you and I probably weren't in the same headspace, and but God, you know,
but God.
So,
Yeah.
sir, I got some.
Okay.
I got some merch for you.
Okay.
And, you are an official Dare champion, sir.
Yeah,
so
let's
you
go.
got the. Let me just pull this out so y'all can see. You got the Dare to
yes,
Live Well.
sir.
This merch is available on daretolivewell.com. You got the Dare to Live Well t-shirt. I got your schmedium for you, sir.
Yeah, I need that. Gotta have the guns out.
You got
know
the
what I'm saying?
baby. Suns out, guns out.
guns
He's
out.
got the
Thank
I
you,
dare
bro.
you. That's one of the slogans. I dare you. He's got the hoodie, the official,
You
the
doing
hoodie.
it like that?
Sir, you got it all, baby. You got it all. You got the hat, and I'm gonna sign this book for you. So, sir, you are a Dare champion and all of that stuff. Brought to you by commercial MSI Integrative Healthcare. If you are in pain, or if you're dealing with sciatica, neck pain, lower back pain, or degenerative disc, please give us a call at MSI Integrative Healthcare. That's my own commercial until we can, YouTube can pay. Listen, sir, appreciate you, man. Love you, man.
Love you too,
appreciate you. Sky's the limit. I pray continued favor, success, prosperity, health in your life, in your family's life, man. And God's, you haven't even seen what God has for you yet, man. So just keep doing what you're doing, and you're impacting so many lives, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you so
bro.
much.
Appreciate you.
That's it.
Let's go. Man.